Hello, 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 everybody. How we doing? It is Amma Jamma or Pookie's Revenge. I'm Pookie's Revenge for the next little while here.
Yeah, that's it.
Welcome to the weekly roundup. How are you doing, Lee?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Amy?
I'm
Oh
doing
man,
well.
my camera's kind of blurry, huh? Let's see.
I'm doing well.
All right.
So we are going to do a little weekly recap for you. I don't know if we'll get any live trades in. I'll try to find some. Obviously right now, let me screen share in the Discord real quick so you guys can see what we're talking about on YouTube. There we go. So I have I
Yeah.
was looking at the Tesla chart. This is I just put out a swing play on Tesla. And this is one of those, for me, one of those really high risk trend plays. We've been bouncing in this area and we've been uptrending. So, it's kind of a Hail Mary type play. I consider these very, only play with profits, especially in this market. What did you play today? What were you looking at?
You know what? I had a bunch of live streams going on today, so I didn't play too much.
Hmm.
But I did play. I played some spy puts towards the end of the day. Spy was
Nice.
pretty nice. Gave us like a 30% gains at the end of the day. And then we got that Facebook. We had Facebook lotto calls overnight. We got about 40% on those. So today it was kind of just sitting back, kind of watching how the market kind of digest Fed Powell speaking. And then
Yes.
also we had Biden too. So we had 2-for-1 special today. We had Biden
Mm.
speaking and Fed Powell in a Senate hearing. So yeah, I was kind of just watching, seeing how things played out.
Right on. I'm guessing this is earnings. I just saw TripAdvisor pop up after hours from 1830 to 1930.
Ooh,
I'm not sure. Might have been just a single buy in a regular candle. I'm not sure if they had earnings. It was just one that came across my radar. So I figured I'd
yeah.
mention it. I don't like KB Homes has earnings. There's a couple earnings, nothing fantastic. And some of these were this morning. So I'm just popping through to see if there's anything exciting in the arsenal there, moving after hours today.
You know what play's been working out perfectly, and I think you put it on the watch list several times this week is Revlon. I mean, what do you think
Oh my
happened
gosh.
with Revlon? I mean, they went basically claimed bankruptcy. They got approved for that funding, and then pretty much doubled from their pre bankruptcy notice. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, this one's been, and this one hasn't stopped. This is a perfect example of one of those plays that, if you pop on the 15-minute here, you kind of stair step up the whole way. You get in anytime from, I mean, literally $1.10 up through $2, and we never have that pullback that really screams, oh, evacuate the position. It just stair steps up, as you can see with the lines I'm popping up. We are pulling back a little bit here, but this placement, I mean, this has ran 400 500% in the last 3.5 days. We've gone from like a dollar, like mid $1 up to 9.89. That's insane. The volumes again, and it's a meme stock that it's turning. I mean, it's a Reddit. It's one you're seeing on Reddit. You're seeing it all over the internet. It turns into a meme stock where the volume just kind of takes charge. And even though we always talk about retail investors don't, control the market, retail investors, when you get a big enough push behind them, can trigger the pushes that then the bots set in and start almost backing those retail pushers, which is a perfect example here.
Now, do you think, yeah, I mean, do you think that it's done basically now running, or is it still holding a good trend there?
I think it's holding a decent trend still. Even if like the 5 minute super short term chart, just playing like trend based here, you could see this is where we would have to hold. It did look a lot better up in this area here. If we had this trend line here and it was holding this line, that was a lot stronger of a trend line hold. Uh, and I mean, honestly, if we put just a simple fibs on this, and just play the fibs from the beginning of our trend all the way down. I'd say I would probably play it from way back at the beginning here. And we have these levels, and these are the levels where I think you'll see the bounces. As you could see, just the super simple fibs from our bottom of our trend to the top. You can see every bounce we took was pretty much right off of a fibs area here. So that's what I'm watching. And of course, I don't have the 25 fibs up, but it would be right here. I do the 0.125 and the 0.378. As a day trader, me personally, I feel like in between these two green lines here, which would be the 0.125 to the 0.378, is a setup area where bounces in here. I don't like bounces in here. I like to see the bounce right up at that 125, or I want to see us pull back at least at 378. That's why I don't have that line here, but it would be right where this blue line is. And it does look like if we pick up here, it easily could continue. But what's nice about these type of charts specifically with the fibs is the bounces are usually right on cue. I mean, you could see literally our fibs lines are right where I had my lines. So throw one on, check it out and anticipate those bounces a little bit. Wait for confirmation though. So that's the
Wait
biggest
for that
thing for
volume,
me.
right? You want to see some of that buying volume, hold up those levels, and then play into that. So that one's been a hell of a play in our Discord, right? I mean, we played that. I think your first alert's been, I don't know if it was in the dollar range, $1.50 or $2 range, but it was pretty low down there.
Yeah, we played it the whole way up. Absolutely. It definitely has been a fun one to play. And one thing, just a little, I've been kind of telling everybody this too over in Titan when it comes to these wedge breakouts and stuff like that. The 5 steps you kind of want to look at with any kind of breakout coming out of a pattern like that, because you always get your reaction first, and then you get the retest, and then you get your decision. So let me pull up a wedge or a nice pattern like this. This Tesla one we were just looking at. I'll pull up that one. Let me find it. All right.
See that Tesla.
So if we were to fall out of this pattern, this is basically what I'm talking about here. So say we were to let me pop on this line here, and we were to lose this pattern. That doesn't mean necessarily we're definitely falling out of the pattern. When we will, more times than not, 80% of the time, we are going to come back up and retest this trend line. And really what happens there is we get our reaction, which is that immediate fall out of our trend. All right. And then our next step we get is our retest. So we're sitting here. There's 5 steps to this. We're sitting here. We're either going to retest our trend and come back in here, or we're going to get rejection. So this isn't necessarily our decision, the first loss of a trend pattern. The decision is 9 out of 10 times. This is where we make the decision. So we have our impulsive move. Then we have our retest. Then we have our decision. And then we get our confirmation. So we confirm, okay, we're moving up, or okay, we're coming down. And then we get our continuation. So you have 5 steps, super simple. Your impulsive move is your very first step. Then you've got your retest of whatever trend you were in. And then you've got your decision. Decision's that key, that third step. So many people trading want to make big positions like, oh, we lost this wedge, we lost this trend, and immediately hop in. But 80% of the time, you're going to retest whatever trend you were in. So that decision point, that's where you are eliminating 50% of your risk from a trade, in my opinion. So just a little Yama Jamma 101 there for you.
Oh, that's spot on right there. I mean, Tesla's been bouncing in that trend pretty well on the 5-minute chart, right? I mean, it's had a nice run from the low 600s up to 740 today. So
it's had a really nice run.
Yeah, so I mean, tomorrow you would look at it probably at open and see if it pushes up from there, because that's what it's been doing the last couple of days. It's been pushing right from the get-go at open. And just move into the upside pretty fast. So that's kind of what you look for probably tomorrow, and see if it holds this trend.
I would agree. And usually, and with Tesla in particular, when you get a couple strong days put together like we've had the last couple days, more times than not, these trends continue. And you can see in this area here, I mean, when Tesla ends up in a pretty strong push, like it has been showing the last couple days, Tesla tends to like to make a pretty strong push, as you can see in these area, like in this area here, in here. These are very strong pushes. Tesla, when it makes a decision and picks a direction, it usually doesn't like to trade sideways too often. And when it does trade sideways, usually you're catching that sideways action on a downtrend, not an uptrend. Usually on the uptrends, Tesla just kind of pushes along. And then on the downtrend, it kind of gets that, pick up support, trade sideways. So I think that's something interesting about Tesla that kind of breaks it away from the SPY a little, even though in a bear market, everything kind of trades together. Tesla can break out and lead the pack because of that, in my opinion.
And Tesla didn't leave the S&P, so it's not
Yep.
even weighted on the S&P anymore. So
So,
it's funny how like Tesla makes huge moves and the S&P kind of follows it still. But yeah,
absolutely.
Tesla likes that 600, like 550 to 620, 650, that area. Man, it loves to sit around the area and bounce heavy from that zone. So if
Absolutely.
we did see it come back down, that's kind of the area I would look at, probably around that 625, 630 area.
I would agree with that fully. I mean, you can see we
Yeah.
really haven't back from, June 2021, we had a really bearish summer last summer with Tesla. And I can remember, honest to God, Power Hour last summer, you, me, Quench sitting there on a Wednesday, just like this. And Tesla was hanging around that 650, that 550 area. And Quench made a buy right there on the air and said, this is going up. This is the bottom. We won't see these prices again for a year. And he was
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah. Hell
he
yeah.
called it right then and there off this perfect double bounce. And this isn't like shameless plug type stuff. It's just Tesla in general. It's just got too much behind it, even with the negative Elon Musk. We talk about Elon Musk
It
every
has
day of
its
the
own
week.
followers.
Hmm.
Its own followers, man.
Absolutely. And isn't Tesla getting ready to split again, or am I mistaken about that?
They're
I swear
voting
I
on it.
saw
That's
that.
right.
Okay.
They're voting on it. I don't know what the status is on that. I don't
Yeah,
know
me
if anyone
neither.
knows the status, but I believe they were voting on it soon. Yeah. I don't know what the split would be. Um,
That
uh,
is interesting.
Let
Because
me
we were
check.
at 1,200 not too long ago and weren't talking split, but now at 600 we are. I think that's part, and that's something a positive. I'd like to see the split. Just like Amazon, and Lee was playing this last week, but I feel like Amazon, of course, depending on the market we're in, did kind of find a bottom, a little double bottom here. I mean, this looks ugly. When you look at Tesla and we look like we're bouncing to push up, I mean, you look at Amazon here on the 4 hour, this looks
It's
like,
ugly.
yeah, this looks like a Head and Shoulders, like just picture perfect here. And so we will make the decision. Amazon's going to make that decision in the next 2 days. Are we coming back or are we doing this Head and Shoulders? Because it looks like it wants to start filling out that shoulder right here. That's ugly looking. I don't like that. That's definitely bearish. We'll see what happens. But it does look like since the split, Amazon likes that $100 area to bounce. So that's what you want to watch for. We've had like multiple bounces off that area with big strong pulls. So I mean 109, we could get like a 3-4% pullback on Amazon. If that happens, SPY's coming down too. So that's just, what do you think? Are you
Let's see.
bullish on the market? Oh, you're looking up that Tesla stuff. I'll tell you my
Sorry.
thoughts on the
Yeah.
SPY.
Now you. Okay. So they're filing for. Yeah, you got me on to
Yeah.
something now. But they're filing for 3-for-1 stock split. So it's going to be 3-for-1. Nothing big.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
still
too
gonna
big.
be pretty expensive for the average person to buy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of underwhelming a little bit.
Yeah, that's not as exciting as I'd hoped. Anything, I mean, if you could get that to like that sweet spot of like $50 to $80 a share, that's where I think it would have really took some steam there. Yeah, that's not too exciting. I agree.
Nah, I was looking for that 10-for-1 or something like that. Yeah, like you said, around 50, $60. I feel like Spotify is doing the right thing because that's what they're going to forward split as, like around 60, $70. So that's an attractive price.
Oh yeah, I agree. And then it is
Um,
because I mean, even though most exchanges you could buy partial shares now, I think there's something psychological, and it affects the contract prices, but there's definitely a psychological, oh, I own 100 shares of a $20 stock, or oh, I only own 10 shares of a $200 stock. There's something psychological in there with traders, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the split comes. I think it's today. I think the split is today. Yeah, I think so. So tomorrow's Spotify opens up at the new price tomorrow.
Yeah. Mapster has a good question here. He asked us, we don't trade the news, we trade the charts, but what do you think about a potential of a federal gas tax holiday? Could some of our travel related stocks see a pop? I mean, it is summer in the States. That's true. Federal gas tax holiday. How do you
Okay.
think that would play?
So yeah, Biden came out with he wants to pass this, but it has to pass Congress, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of people against it because it's going to take a lot from the highway funding, I suppose. I don't know. He said that it won't affect it and that it's going to be a good thing. I don't know about the travel related stocks. I don't know if that's really going to help like any airlines or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to help us consumers, obviously, because the prices will go down. But don't think this is going to be affect anytime soon. They're probably going to go through Congress like 20 times before they get it right, and it's
Exactly.
probably going to be a waste of time by the by the end of it. So I don't know. What do you think? What I heard is that it's 18 cents off
Yep.
a gallon.
Yep. I mean, I think it will be more so for us, like as the consumers, that 18 cents really isn't a lot. We see 18 cents pushes on a Friday and back down, this and that. It's not, I mean, it's about not even, yeah, that's like a 5% tax, not even with gas prices today. But for bigger companies where fuel is a multi-million dollar budget, that 5% could be millions, and for
Yeah.
that it could help the bottom line a little bit, like on like future earnings, something like that. As far as like in the day in those stocks, I don't think it'll affect it too much. I'm kind of with you with that. I don't think it's as big as we would hope for the market is.
The funny thing is with this, and I actually agree with what Biden said today. Is that okay? Well, the oil, right, the commodity has been going
Mhm.
down, trending down for the past like 3 or 4 days. I mean, it's going down 3 to 5% a day, but we're not seeing it at the fuel pump, right? We're only
Yep.
seeing a couple of cents come off a gallon. But he was, and I laughed at it too because he's like, as soon as the oil went up a couple of dollars, though, the gas at the pump went up 50, 60 cents a gallon. So he's like, they need to start bringing it down. I mean, oil prices are down, so they need to start pushing it down into the fuel pumps, and give us some relief. And that's all comes down to the oil companies and the gas stations and what have you. So, I mean, to be honest, I don't know what the oil price is at now per barrel, but I feel like the gas should be like 20 to 30 cents cheaper by now. But we're only seeing about 10, 15 cents off per gallon. So it's wild.
Although I think every
Wild.
time there's something like, that we're always the last to feel the positive effects.
Yep.
I think the retail investor's the first to feel the negative effects and the last to feel the positive effects. So our window of pain is much wider than the corporations and the government entities, in my opinion. So
So the oil's down another 3.8% today, right? So it's been going down. It's 105 a barrel. It used to be in the 120s. So I mean, to be honest, it should be coming down at the pump, but yeah, we're not. It's not coming down quick enough.
yeah,
But yeah,
it
the
definitely is
federal
not.
holiday, the federal gas tax holiday would help, but I think it's going to be too late before they pass that. So I don't know.
I would agree
Yeah, I don't know.
100% with that. A couple of
Good
stocks
question.
I've been meaning to ask you about that are getting wrecked even on green days. Like, what's up with Meta, Facebook? I mean, this stock is just ugly, ugly, bearish. it can't catch wind. It had a little bit of a push this morning. It immediate or actually pre-market, but we know not sustainable. Isn't following any of the green days. Like yesterday, I mean, Meta just dumped, and we had a very green day. I mean, is this stock heading towards $100 a share? I'm starting to
As
feel like
as
it
as
is.
as James Legend would say, it's probably going to zero. But no, I don't know. It had such a rough day yesterday. But there's also news, right? I mean, they had to. It says here that they were settling some kind of a legal dispute with. I don't know if it's with the government, maybe. But they were dealing with some kind of legal problem, and they settled. And obviously, the stock price came down with that news.
I live in Illinois. Well, I used to back at the time. And like in 2020, there was this survey that everybody
Yeah.
filled out. And all of a sudden, maybe 2 months ago, I got like $380 in my PayPal from Facebook. My sister did, my parents did. And it was only in Illinois. I don't know if it was specific to Illinois law, but I remember being on Facebook, and because a lot of people in your area, there was probably 300 people I saw that got this $400 from Facebook. I guarantee that was probably $100 million they had to disperse with all these $400 payouts. This
Oh,
was
you
probably
say
a
it was
month
like
ago.
a settlement or something, you're saying?
Yes, yes,
Gotcha.
yes. And
Yeah,
it was
that
only, yeah, it was only Illinois. So I'm not sure if it was like state or federal.
yeah, I think there was something going on there, and that's why we had this drop off yesterday. But yeah, I mean, it's not really. I mean, it's terrible. It's looking dismal for
Ugly,
sure.
ugly, ugly. I would agree with that. Tech is starting to break up a little bit. I think that's a good. Have you noticed, like 2 weeks ago in our true bear market, it didn't matter if it was Netflix, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, it was all trading down. It was all terrible looking. And a lot of these stocks are starting to break away from each other a little bit, which is what we want to see in order to not have just a fully engulfing, overwhelming bear market.
Yeah.
Like it's just I've noticed that like some today was pretty green for a few and not so green for others. And that's what I prefer to see. It's so boring to trade just that descending wedge we've been in for a year and a half.
God,
And
like
everything.
everything's descending wedge, right? And it's so exciting when it breaks out of it it's
No,
exciting to all of us. But yeah, you're looking at you're looking at Netflix before, and it had a
I can
solid
pull that
green
back
day.
up.
Had a
Yep.
solid green day up 4%. But it's got that hard resistance there, like 180, 182, 183
Yep.
area.
That's what
Um,
I'm looking at. Like this
but
looks bearish to
yeah,
me for tomorrow.
yeah, it does look bearish for tomorrow, especially how it ended. But we can maybe play that tomorrow. Maybe we can buy some puts tomorrow. Depends how we open up, and we
Absolutely.
may be able to play that down.
One I've been kind of watching to try to get a good entry is Ford. Ford's a slower mover. Um, it looks like it's finally starting to uptrend a little bit. We had a bottom at like 1088 and we're sitting at like 1150. So it hasn't moved too much. And this is one where, you can get leaps relatively cheap too. And then I had this charted out earlier. I'm talking about those 5 steps. This would be what I'm talking about. So we finally broke over this resistance line we had, and we had broke out, and now it looks like it wants to curl down so it had its reaction move, and now it's having its pullback, its retest. So now we're going to come to that decision. I think this is what I would watch for Ford tomorrow is perhaps we bounce a little bit at like this 1130, 1125 area. And then if we pop off that and we bounce bullish, that's where I think is a really nice entry for some calls longer term on Ford. That's when I've been watching that looks a little interesting. And as you can see, this bottom trend line kind of is lining up exactly with this long-term trend. So I expect Ford tomorrow, if we're red, I expect a true decision around like 11:20 tomorrow. That's definitely one to watch to get a really nice entry. Hopefully, it's one I've been watching for a few days.
Yeah. Also, I just when we're talking about Netflix, there also is some kind of buyout rumor going around that um, Comcast and Comcast and Google amongst front runners to partner with Netflix. So they may there may be some rumors out there that someone may be willing to buy Netflix out.
That would
Especially
be
at this level, it's
huge.
very attractive at this price.
I mean,
Um,
I could see. I mean, Amazon already has Amazon Prime. Can you imagine those two forces joining together? You
Together,
know, like
yeah,
that would be huge.
it's a very
That would be
attractive
big
price,
news.
right?
Absolutely, especially at this price with the potential, and just Netflix was one that had a string of really, really negative news. Um, just and lower than expected earnings, having to raise their prices, some
Yeah.
specials on there people didn't like. I remember last year when it was just getting destroyed because of specific programs on there.
And
Um,
I like the shows on Netflix. They have pretty solid shows. I mean they have Stranger Things on there.
yep,
They have some really good quality on there, and they have Ozark. Ozark's a good show as well.
love Ozark.
I just think, yeah, I mean the market's just not giving it any love, and I'm going back on the chart now on Netflix, and I see that it's holding like a support area from like 2000, I think 17.
Wow,
Yeah, 2017. So that's how far back the prices come down to that level, 2017 level, which is pretty insane.
that is insane.
So I mean, I still feel like there's a lot more upside. I think there is. And I will be watching this one, especially if we come out this bear territory that we're in right now. This one could get a nice pushback over 200 again in the next couple of weeks, maybe. Um, but talking about that, what do you think about the market in general with like how it closed? What do you think is going to happen tomorrow or the rest of the week?
Well, today we ended up having like a green push and just kind of what closed flat. I think we were just slightly red on the SPY. Yeah, like 10th of a % red. Um, to me, I think that equals us definitely. I think we trade sideways a little bit. I don't think we're getting a 15% move tomorrow, 12% move, 15-point move. I honestly, if we've got the weekly on now, but if we put the 4 hour on here, we're holding this long-term trend line from like 2008, this middle trend line we've been playing. If I pull back the weekly here, we're kind of holding right on that line, right in the middle. This middle line here, which
Yeah,
has been major support forever. That's where we're hanging out. Um, so it'll be interesting to see. And of course, there's some variance of this line here, but this top trend is about an 18-point gap, and this bottom one's a 14-point gap. So it'll be interesting to see if we kind of slip below this line and hold below it. I mean, we have tested below it. I feel like if we hold over 370, that will test 380 again by the end of the week. But I mean, this market, who knows?
I was reading some like information on the buying and selling for the day for today on SPY, and there was a lot more selling to the sell side than to the buy side.
Yep.
So I would, yeah, definitely interesting going into tomorrow how we will be. I personally think we'll be red just how we ended, but also that could, we've seen how SPY is. So I mean, it could be red ending and then a huge push tomorrow.
Yep.
Just like the morning, right? We gapped down overnight a couple of points and then we gapped right back up at market open.
And I agree with that. I think that it's funny because I do believe if we do gap down overnight, that will end up bullish at market open, and vice versa. I think if we gap up, that we end up selling off at market open. It's definitely been the volatility is just there. So whatever you see at 4 a.m. is not necessarily what we're going to see at noon or at 4 p.m. at close. So it's definitely been interesting. Is there any top watches you have the next couple of days? or just kind of playing it?
Oh man, yeah. I showed you that one, that special, that nice cup that was forming, that deep cup,
Oh,
which was
yes.
MS. I think it was MSPR. Yeah, MSPR. So that one had a nice day today. Yeah, MSPR. So I'm watching that one for any continuation. Um, yeah, I mean, look at
It's
that
just
dump, and
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
curling up.
That's
You
such a
know.
nice chart here, honest. Oh my gosh, I love it. These are the kind of
So
charts. Oh,
this is the
it's
one, and we got
beautiful.
in early. We got in at $1 for the first buy was $1, so we got in pretty cheap there. We're up what, around 90%. So I think this
Wonderful.
can really curl right up. There was some insider buying recently when it dumped off there, so we could continue here. So this is one to watch, and I think just obvious, right? I think we're gonna watch Revlon,
Yep.
and some of the big top watches. I also think the one to watch is it Sea-Doo? Yeah, because that one came down pretty heavy after that news.
What's the CD
SI
ticker?
Yeah, SIDU.
That one.
Um, and I think it's in a good place. We may get a bounce here in the next day or two.
Oh
So
my.
I'm watching this one as well. So they're kind of my two top watches, I think, going into tomorrow.
Oh, it's hanging out. Sea-Doo bounced right at that golden fibs too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there. Look, that one does definitely looks nice.
It's going to be on Amy's watch list tomorrow, guys. Watch out for that one.
It is. Now it is. You are absolutely
uh,
correct about that. So yeah,
yeah.
Revlon. And then of course, Redbox. Redbox is like the new AMC. It's just it never stops going. It's constantly talked about everywhere.
Yeah,
It has
absolutely.
pulled back some, but I mean, that doesn't mean anything in the land of Redbox. I've watched a couple people take personal plays and get smoked on Redbox. So it's one that you have to be careful about playing the short on if you're not confident in your charting skills. Because this, honestly, if you pop a trend line straight across this bottom here, we're getting pretty close to where I would see a bounce. So right, let me fix this a little bit. There we go. So our resistance is starting to become our support here. As you could see in this area, we couldn't get over it, held support. Now, then we couldn't get back over this area, and then we bounced off of 4 times now. That's right where we are. If we lose this, we do have an ugly looking head and shoulders here. If we lose this neckline, we could come down pretty substantially. I mean, to the mid $5 range. But if we take a hard bounce here, we could come right back up and test. I
It
can't believe
deserves to
this
be down there.
619.
Get back down to $5 where it belongs.
Absolutely.
You
You
know.
are correct with
But
that.
it's very popular. It's like a meme stock. It's like the next meme stock. It's like AMC. AMC's died off and
Yep.
Redbox replaced it.
Yep.
So that one's interesting. We
Exactly.
also saw that, you know what one we were looking at earlier was Romeo Powers. Do you remember?
Oh, yes.
You remember we were playing that when it was so high, and now it's down there at 55 cents.
Unbelievable. This was one that had those um like 800% pushes over just a few days. This one went from like
Look at this one.
$8 all the way up to $38. Just insanity. Insanity. I think that was one of our 1,000%ers in the Discord, and not on options, just the equities. I feel like we definitely had played that one around that price point. So yeah, this one it looks like it definitely wants to start moving a little bit here. It's had these pops before. I mean, like
Right.
obviously, you know, the safer entry would be trying to get it up over this resistance we've got here, which we're kind of hanging out right there. So I mean, you know,
Make or
watch.
break right here.
Yes, yes, we're at make or break right here. So I would say like if we see it back up over 58, 59 cents and it holds there, it could be a really good entry on that one.
Oh yeah. I like that one. That one's going to be on my watch list. You have Amy's watch list, Lee's watch list, James Legend's watch list. We're going to put a bunch of these on there. But this one, like you say, if it breaks
Yep.
that trend line, I'm going to be definitely there looking to buy.
For sure.
All
Well, do you
right.
have any final thoughts before we jet on out of here for the day?
No, I can't wait just to just to chill out for the rest of the evening, right, and do some
Yes.
research. It's been a hell of a day. We made
Hump
some
day.
good profits there, and ready to do it again.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys all for jumping on with us, and we'll see you guys in the Discord tomorrow. And if you are not part of the premium server, I will put a code in the chat. We have open house Monday. You have full access to everything except education. We're going to be streaming all day long. You get all the premium alerts in every single channel. It's really awesome. There's a link to sign up for that, and I will pop it into the free live stream chat as soon as we jump off here. Right on. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye.